What's up, you guys? Today I'm going to teach you how to play a redemption song. So I'm going to teach it to you pretty accurately. However, I'm going to give you a couple of little easy ways to handle certain parts of this song. I'm not going to go into super detail about when E minor 7 comes in and all that. I'm going to keep it pretty chill and give you exactly what you need, which is an easy to learn version of this song that still sounds great and is very accurate to the track. Let's dive in. So our intro is going to be all in the key of G, the G major open scale. If you don't know that, it might help to actually learn that first and then to try this little intro. It's going to just be a lot easier and make more sense to you. But for now, we're going to assume you know it. I'm going to run you through it real quick. So it's going to be the first little bit is this. So what that is that's me just basically keeping these fingers anchored. My third finger on the B string and 3rd fret, and then my pinky is on the high E string 3rd fret. And they're just kind of anchored there because they can be, and that'll set me up for the verse, which is a G major to start. So I'm going to go and keep that there for stability reasons and just because it's just something he'd probably do as well. And so the first note is a 3rd fret E string. The next note is an open A. And then a 2nd fret A, and returning back to the 3rd fret E. So far. The next note, I'm going to do a little quick hammer on. That's from the open string to the 3rd fret A. This is kind of my way of doing it. You can always do a slide into the 2, but I just kind of like to keep everything here. Right? And then I'll play a quick hammer on the 2nd fret D string from the open string. Then open D, and then returning to the 2nd fret A string. So it's this: 3, 0, 2, 3, 3, 2, 0, 2. The next line is going to do this, and that's played like this: 3rd fret E string, open A, 2nd fret A, and I'll do a little hammer onto that typically, just for fun. Open D. And then I'm going to go 2, 3, 2, 0 on the A string. That's 2, 3, 2, 0, and then ending on the G, the 3rd fret E string. Altogether it's 3, 0, 2, 0, 2, 3, 2, 0, 3. So far, here's what we got. The next line is essentially the exact same thing. It starts off and it's the exact same thing I taught you in the first half. It's 3rd fret E, open A, and I might hammer on that, but you can just play the 2nd fret A, back to the 3rd fret E, and then I'll hammer on the 3rd fret A, 2nd fret D, open D, back to the 2nd fret A. So it's exactly the same thing. And then the last bit is where it changes just by a little bit. It goes 3rd fret, I'll play it first. So he just leaves out a 2nd fret in there in the beginning of that last little lick. What he does is he goes 3rd fret E, open A, 2nd fret A, open D, and then he gives it a second to pause here, and he goes 3, 2, 0 on the A string to finish on the 3rd fret E. Here's a quarter of what the verse is all about, and mostly what the verse is. And what I'm doing here is I'm playing a G. And by the way, the strum pattern for pretty much this whole song, you could simply use down, down, up, down, up for everything. Of course, I might mix it up as he does and as you can as well, as long as you're in the confines of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it doesn't quite matter that much. But for now, to keep things simple, down, down, up is going to sound great. If you don't know that already, practice it, and it's going to be a lot easier to take this song down. So we're going to do one measure of G, down, down, up, down, up. One measure of E minor, down, down, up, down, up. And you can do a little lift on that middle finger and make an E minor 7. You can always sub that in and out, and he definitely does that a little bit in the song. Don't overthink it, you can simply just play an E minor for now. The next couple chords is pretty interesting. We have a C. I'm just doing the first half of that measure. It's down, down, up. And then I'm going to do a C over B. It's kind of a tricky, unusual chord, most common for guitar players, and you're going to see why. I basically pick up my third finger, that's from my root, and I'm going to place my second finger over here on the A string 2nd fret, while I keep that first finger on the B string 1st fret for my root here. Now this particular voicing, I personally really like this the best. I'm muting the E string with my thumb. I know that's not easy. You should already be doing that with a lot of your chords such as C and A minor and D. But for now, just kind of bear with me. We're playing a C, right? Pick your third finger up, put your second finger on the A string 2nd fret, while this E string is muted. My A string is on the 2nd fret being fretted there. I actually like to mute my D string, and I'll play an open G, and then I'll play the 1st fret of the B string. And of course, you can always play this note. I'm going to go ahead and mute it though. And that's what it sounds like, which doesn't sound great by itself, but whenever you throw it in the mix from a C to an A minor. Now of course, another way to play that C over B is to simply do the same thing I did here with the A string 2nd fret and the B string 1st fret, but you can put your third finger here on the D string 2nd fret. And that's a very common way of playing a C over B as well, and that would sound like this. I personally find that a little overbearing, not my thing, but it definitely works. Pick your poison, the C over B or this one. Okay, so as you can see, the last chord is an A minor. I've been playing that a little bit already, and I'm going to do one full measure of that. Down, down, up, up, down, up. So all together we have G, E minor, the C and the C over B share the measure. And so I'm just going to do the first half of that strum pattern. I'm going to go down, down, up, down, down, up, and then A minor, down, down, up, down, up. You'll do that 3 times in that first verse, and after your 3rd time, you're going to do this little trick where he plays G again for a measure, E minor, C for a measure, and then D twice, which is a nice build-up. So there's no C over B on that last line. Most of my students tend to mess that up. They kind of get in that habit and they play it anyway. Try not to. Try to go from a C, 1 measure, to D for 2 measures. And that 5 chord brings you to the 1 chord. That's a D to a G, and that's going to be a nice kind of pull into your chorus. The first chorus goes like this. G, and a quick tip for the choruses, by the way, before I play it for you, is in the chorus, the C and the D are always going to share the measure. Okay, so it's going to be this basically. I'll play really quickly the first chorus. Change up there. And so what I'm doing there is I'm playing a G for a full measure. C and D, we're going to share a measure, down, down, up, down, down, up. So it can be a quick little change there. Work that C to D. If you're having trouble with it, just do this back and forth. And then we're going to do another round, G again, C again, D again. And then we change it up. We go to an E minor for a full measure, C for a half, D for a half, and then we're back to G for a full measure, C again, D for a half, G for a full measure, C to the D, and that kicks you back into a verse, which is the 2nd verse, Emancipate Yourself. So we're back to a G. Now, in this particular verse, I'm going to go ahead and be, official and proper. I'm going to teach you exactly what he's doing. So what he does in this one is essentially the same thing in the first verse, but on that 2nd run through of G, E minor, C, C over B, A minor, he'll play a D major at the end instead of an A minor. So I'm going to play you really quickly just the entirety of the 2nd verse, just so you can see it, and then I'm going to let you teach it to yourself from that point on, because it's essentially the same thing as the first verse. So it's G, A minor, C, C over B, A minor, G, E minor, C, C over B to the D. That's the change. Back to a G, E minor, nicely back to a second chorus. So let me just scroll up here. There we go. So your second chorus is just the same as your first chorus. You're going to basically do G for a full measure, C to a D, G for a full measure, C to a D, then that change up, then E minor, C, then D, you're back to G, C, then D, G, C, D, G, C, D, and then you got yourself a bridge. Bridge is actually a change up from the whole song, and it starts on an E minor to a C to a D. It sounds like this. Four times instead of E minor C D 4 times. And so what we're going to do is we're going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to show you like the way that he's doing it essentially. I'm going to make it as easy as I can though, but it is tough. And then I'm going to show you a very easy way to do it. So the real way is going to be a little bit of palm muting and down strumming on the E minor. And I'm really kind of building up the tension and releasing it on C and D. I'm going down, 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 and then I do a quick little stop when I go to C, down, 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 down on the D. So 1, 2, 3 on the C, 1, 2 times on the D. That's just the way I've been doing it for years. I haven't played the track in a while, so it should sound pretty close. That'll be down, 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 and do that 4 times. If you want the easy way, you can always simply do an E minor for one measure with our basic strum pattern, and then C and D can share a measure. You can do this. I do this a lot on my beginners. We go down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 down. Last one. And this sounds fine. It's not as cool as really digging in and chopping it up, but that easy way out is going to be nice because it gives you the same effect without all the hard work. Okay, good news. The verse that comes after our bridge, our third verse, is actually exactly the same as our second verse. Okay, so it's basically got G, E minor, C, C over B, A minor, G, E minor, C, C over B, there's that change up to D, and then G, E minor, C, C over B, A minor. And then lastly, G, E minor, C, and then D for 2 measures. So all the same as the second verse. Then the last chorus, the final chorus, is actually a little bit beefier. He tends to kind of beef these choruses up as he goes. And so the good news is it starts off pretty much exactly the same. It's all the same stuff. I would think maybe compare it to the first chorus, which is G, C, D, G, C, D, E minor, C, D, G, C, D, and then it goes back for E minor, C, then D, E minor again, C, D, then G, C, D, G. And then after that last G, he goes into this outro. And so I'm not going to be super specific with this part. Work it to the track, but I'm going to give you an idea of what he's pretty much doing. He's going from maybe the last bit of that chorus. I'll play it. I'll go. And what I'm doing there is I'm taking it from that last G, full measure on that chorus over the word freedom, and then I'm going to start with my C, playing for half measure, C over B for half measure, and then when I get to that A minor, I start to kind of do the same thing I did in the bridge. I start to palm mute and go down strums, right? I go. And I'm going to do all of a sudden an A minor 6, which is kind of an unusual chord, and I'm basically just putting, this is an A minor, I'm putting my pinky here on the 6th in that sharp, in the key of A, that is. And so that creates an A minor 6. Pretty easy chord to play. Kind of sounds a little bit, a little bizarre, which is kind of a cool choice, but I'm going to do this at the very end. So. Basically end on that chord and cut with my right hand to kill that chord in the very end. I'm not going to get into the specifics of all the exact strumming. Listen to the track a little bit, and essentially you'll be fine just by just kind of getting that, building A minor 6 and stopping. It doesn't have to be perfect. He never played it the same way live anyway. So an easy way to play this outro is actually going to just, if you want to stay with the down, down, up, down, up thing, it will make it 10 times easier. It is how I have it listed in the Patreon chord sheet, so go ahead and access that in the link below. If you're a member of my Patreon page, you'll get all this stuff. So it's going to be down, down, up, down, down, up. Then A minor is down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. A minor 6, down, up, down, up, down. And that's just kind of the easy, chilled out version. So C for half measure, C over B for half measure, A minor for 2 measures, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Then A minor 6 for 1 measure, and then another down strum with a stop. So down, down, up, down, down. And that's the easy way. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. It means a lot to me. Please subscribe, ring that bell so you get the notification whenever I release another video. And as always, have an awesome day. Like and leave a comment on any future videos you'd like me to do. I'd be happy to do them for you. Thanks, guys.